You ever notice how some guys can walk into a room, say almost nothing, and women just gravitate toward them? It's not about looks, money, or luck. It's something much deeper. If you've ever felt invisible to the women you want, or if you've been friend-zoned more times than you can count, you need to hear this. Because the truth is, attraction isn't about convincing a woman to like you. It's about naturally pulling her in, effortlessly. And I promise you, by the end of this, you'll understand exactly how to do that, no matter where you are right now. Let's start with a hard truth. If she's not interested in you, it's not because she's out of your league. It's not because she only likes rich guys or guys who look a certain way. It's because you haven't triggered something deep inside her, something primal, something instinctual. And that's exactly what we're going to fix right now. You see, women aren't attracted to words. They're attracted to the energy behind those words, the vibe you give off, the way you carry yourself. And once you master this, you won't have to chase women ever again. They will come to you. Now let me tell you a story. There was a guy I knew. Let's call him Jake. Jake wasn't ugly. He wasn't broke. But he had one major problem. Women never saw him as the guy they wanted to be with. He was always just a nice guy. He tried everything, compliments, gifts, being there for them 24/7. And what did it get him? Nothing. But then Jake learned something that changed everything for him. He started shifting his mindset. He changed the way he spoke, the way he carried himself. And suddenly, the same women who ignored him started looking at him differently. They started chasing him. What did Jake do? We'll get to that in a second. First, you have to understand the foundation of attraction. Women are drawn to men who embody certain traits. Confidence, but not arrogance. Mystery, but not game playing. A sense of purpose, but not desperation. When a man has these qualities, a woman doesn't just see him, she feels him. She feels his presence. And presence is everything. When you walk into a room, does your energy command attention, or do you shrink into the background? This is where most men go wrong. They try to impress a woman instead of making her feel something in their presence. Women don't fall in love with logic. They fall in love with feelings. So how do you create that feeling? Let's go deeper. Imagine you're on a date with a woman. You're talking, she's listening, but she's not fully engaged. Why? Because you're making the conversation too transactional. Most guys focus on asking surface-level questions. What do you do? Where are you from? That's not what triggers attraction. Instead, ask yourself, how can I make her feel something? How can I lead this conversation with emotion, with unpredictability, with depth? Women crave a man who can take them on an emotional journey. Not a roller coaster of toxic drama, but a real adventure where she feels excitement, curiosity, a little bit of mystery, and most importantly, your unshakable confidence. And this brings us to one of the most powerful shifts you can make. Stop seeking validation. When you talk to a woman, do you need her approval? Do you secretly hope she likes you? If so, you've already lost. Women can sense that energy from a mile away, and it's the biggest turn-off. Instead, flip the script. Be the one who evaluates her. See if she's the kind of woman who fits into your life. This doesn't mean being rude or cold. It means having standards and valuing yourself so much that she can feel it. You see, the moment you stop trying to impress her and start focusing on yourself, everything changes. Women are drawn to men who are solid in who they are. Men who have a mission, a purpose, and a life that excites them. Because here's the truth. A woman doesn't complete you, she complements you. If you're not already fulfilled on your own, no relationship is going to fix that. Think about the men you respect the most. Do they beg for attention? Do they seek approval? Or do they carry themselves with an effortless confidence moving through life on their own terms? That's the kind of energy that naturally attracts women. It's not about being a jerk or playing games. It's about knowing your worth and acting accordingly. So how do you start embodying this? First, shift your focus. Instead of thinking, how can I make her like me? Ask yourself, do I even like her? Is she adding value to my life? When you genuinely adopt this mindset, your entire energy changes. You become the prize, and women feel that instantly. Second, cultivate a life you love. The most attractive men are those who have passions, goals, and a direction. When you're deeply engaged in something meaningful, whether it's fitness, business, art, or adventure, you naturally radiate an energy that's magnetic. You don't need to chase women because you're already moving forward, and they'll want to be part of that journey. Third, master the art of non-reactivity. One of the biggest signs of a high-value man is that he doesn't let external factors shake him. If she tests you, if she plays hard to get, if she pulls away, you remain unfazed. You stay grounded. This doesn't mean ignoring her or acting disinterested. It means responding from a place of self-assurance instead of neediness. Women are wired to test a man's strength, not just physically, but emotionally. When she sees that you don't crumble under pressure, her attraction skyrockets. Now let's talk about communication. The way you speak, the way you carry yourself, it all plays into attraction. A confident man speaks deliberately, with purpose. He doesn't rush to fill silences. He doesn't over-explain himself. He isn't afraid to challenge her opinions or playfully disagree. This creates tension, and tension is what fuels attraction. And here's a game changer. Embrace mystery. One of the biggest mistakes men make is laying everything out on the table too soon. Keep an air of intrigue. Let her wonder about you. Let her ask questions. When a woman doesn't know everything about you right away, her mind starts filling in the blanks, and that's what creates obsession. Jake's transformation wasn't immediate, and it wasn't easy, but it was real. He decided to stop focusing on seeking approval or validation from others, especially women. He understood something crucial that most men fail to grasp. Attraction isn't about doing the right things or following a formula. It's about becoming someone who doesn't need validation from others to feel good about himself. When Jake stopped pretending to be someone he wasn't, when he stopped living for the approval of others, that's when the real shift happened. In a world that constantly pushes the narrative that success and attraction are about external accomplishments, how much money you make, how many followers you have, or how smooth your pickup lines are, it's easy to forget that true value comes from within. The truth is, all the external stuff is fleeting. It can get you attention, but it won't earn you the respect and admiration you truly desire. What Jake learned is that when you embody your own worth, when you live authentically, the right people, those who genuinely appreciate you for who you are, will naturally gravitate towards you. So how did Jake make this shift? First, he stopped looking for external fixes. He stopped going to bars, hoping to meet someone, stopped relying on gimmicks or game to create attraction. Instead, he focused on deepening his understanding of himself. He got clear on his values, his passions, and what he wanted from life, not just from others. He also developed mental toughness and emotional control, refusing to let outside circumstances dictate his mood or sense of self-worth. But what really set him apart was his ability to enjoy his own company. It might sound cliché, but Jake found peace in solitude. He cultivated hobbies, pursued projects that excited him, and dove deep into personal growth. And the more he worked on becoming the best version of himself, the more he realized that the people around him, especially women, started responding differently to him. He stopped seeking out validation in the form of attention. Instead, he became focused on creating a life that was rich with purpose and fulfillment. He wasn't available for just anyone. His time, his energy, and his presence were valuable. That value wasn't based on anything he did, but on who he was becoming. Jake's journey taught him the difference between being wanted and being earned. In his past, he was often the one chasing after attention, seeking approval from women who might not even have appreciated the effort. But once he stopped acting like he needed to win them over, that's when they started wanting to win him over. It wasn't because of his wealth, status, or anything he did to impress them. It was because he stopped making himself readily available. He gave off the energy of someone who couldn't be easily obtained. The truth is, most people, especially women, are drawn to those who have high standards, not just in terms of how they treat others, but how they treat themselves. So why does this work? Why does becoming a man who has unshakable self-respect and internal confidence make such a profound impact? It works because people, especially women, are always drawn to those who exude self-assureds. They want to be around people who make them feel secure, not because they give compliments or do things to make them feel good, but because they can see that the other person is secure within themselves. They want to be around someone who doesn't need external validation, because that person isn't dependent on others for their happiness. Think about it. We all know people who, no matter what they have on the outside, can never seem to truly enjoy their lives. They constantly need to be reassured, constantly seek validation, and always act like they need to be approved of. That energy repels people. It creates an invisible wall that keeps others from connecting with them on a deeper level. On the other hand, a person who is at peace with who they are, who doesn't need to try too hard or overcompensate, naturally attracts those who want to be in their orbit. This doesn't mean Jake became distant or arrogant. He wasn't about playing games or manipulating women into chasing him. It was never about being cruel or pretending to be someone he wasn't. It was about simply embodying his true self with confidence, living his life in a way that showed he didn't need to win anyone over. He was already whole. That subtle shift, moving from someone who was constantly trying to prove himself to someone who knew his worth, was the key to his newfound success with women, and more importantly, with life. Jake also learned that respect and self-worth have to come from within, not from the opinions of others. It's easy to get caught up in seeking validation from the world around you, especially in relationships. But true respect comes from being steadfast in your own identity, your principles, and your self-worth. When you learn to respect yourself and hold yourself to high standards, you naturally become a higher-value person. Being a high-value man isn't about boasting or seeking out opportunities to be recognized. It's about being someone who doesn't seek external validation, but rather cultivates a life that is deeply fulfilling on its own. It's about living with purpose, creating your own success, and investing in personal growth. The more Jake worked on this, the less he cared about the opinions of others, and the more women, who were drawn to him because he didn't need them, started seeking his attention. Jake's story isn't just about attracting women. It's about creating a life that's so fulfilling, so rich in personal growth, that others are naturally drawn to it. When you become a man who is constantly evolving, not for the sake of others, but for your own fulfillment, everything else falls into place. To sum it up, the secret to attraction is not in doing things to impress or seeking validation from others. It's in becoming the kind of person who is already complete, who doesn't need external validation, who lives with integrity and confidence. When you do this, when you become the kind of man who commands respect and admiration naturally, you'll find that the world begins to open up in ways you never imagined. And that's what you need to become. A man who doesn't try to attract women, but who naturally draws them in. It starts with how you see yourself. Because when you become the man you were meant to be, attraction isn't something you have to work for. It's something that happens naturally. And that, my friends, is the real secret. This is Stoic Venture. And if you're ready to truly understand what makes women attracted to you, stay tuned, because we're just getting started.